Hello and welcome to a special commentary for episode 1. This is to mark the second anniversary of it being released, so I thought I'd do something special, which was just to do a little commentary track. It's my first time doing this, so let's see how we go, and let's get into it. So logos. I was really convinced that I wanted this shot from the very start. It was very much something that I had in my head that I was like, I need that. It's on my initial storyboards. It was a bit of a pain to get. We tried with a crane shot. We tried many different ways. I think the end way we resolved it was to do it upside down, which we did that for both 1 and 2. So here's like loads of sprinklings of like little Easter eggs of people who are involved in the project in some way or another, or friends of people or people who are just being involved in different ways.
I may look like every other teenager.
So that sequence there in the concert was actually inspired by something that happened to me when I went to go and see the football. Once I was really sick, but was determined that I was going to go and do it anyway, and just ended up hating it.
Muscle pain, migraines, pain in multiple joints, and sadly so many more.
I really like the way that this has come out, and I can't take any credit for this. This is Andy, who was producer on the project.
The frustration of the actual illness that gets you down. Doctors just don't seem to understand.
Doctors. All the things that you're hearing this doctor say were real things that were said by my doctor, or one of the doctors I had before I finally got a second opinion and got a real diagnosis.
Story of how
So yeah, unfortunately, all inspired by true words.
Yourself in for what would surely be a dull story.
Strap yourself in for a dull story is probably not how you usually start an episode. I'm basically selling people on how dull it is. There's our infamous poster, which was fantastic. Again, can't take the credit for that. So this bedroom was a challenge throughout both episodes, particularly probably episode 2. But very tight space. But luckily, we're very lucky to have the location. It's my best mate's house, and it's her little girl's room, so we're very lucky.
Bye, Mum. Bye, Hon.
So this episode, particularly this bit of the episode, is inspired by the slightly better days when you still feel like absolute crap, but it's not as bad as you can get. That's me being hit. That's my friend Zara getting shot. This sequence was so much fun to do. It was probably the only time we got to do something that was remotely silly throughout the project.
Hello. This was the last time I was.
I love the dreamic nature to this. I just love the sort of soft focus on them, though. How if everyone can ever fancy playing a drinking game, then take a shot anytime. Her cat suit squeaks. It was a massive pain for us. Massive pain. But it looks great. I mean, it really adds to this sort of movie star character, but it was a pain.
I don't think this counts.
This scene is actually the only scene in both episodes where they were in the same place at the same time having a conversation. Both episodes don't feature another scene like this later on in the episode when we get to it. There's a conversation when she's a poster, but that wasn't filmed together. They filmed their bits separately.
I don't know.
So this is the only time that Chloe and Nicole have actually acted in the scene, and I love it. I think they've got such good chemistry, which is amazing considering they don't get to act together that often. But I do love them when we put them together, and that is something that we're definitely going to do again in a future episode.
FYI.
This is M's cameo, which we filmed a couple of times. Finally got there. And that's Spike, Nicole's husband, who was getting shot in the head there. This scene was actually much longer and had dialogue, but it just didn't work for me. So we took it out, and I think it really helps it be a slower pace and maybe more. It gets into Rachel's head perhaps more without sort of dialogue.
Right, love. Not really.
I know a lot of people said that the parents didn't seem that caring in this one, in episode 1. I think the reality is that they've been dealing with this for about 4 or 5 years at this point, so they know when to just leave her and get on with it, and that talking doesn't help. We have kind of jumped into the middle of her story as opposed to right when she's just got diagnosed. The score in both episodes is fantastic, and Ali did such an amazing job. This one really tied together this montage sequence, which wasn't in the script initially, but was something that we found in the editing, and we really liked it. So we actually didn't shoot most of these scenes from montage. These were just other versions of the scenes that we had in it, but they work really well, and they build so well. And get you into that kind of day to day, and it's nothing really changes.
What are you wearing tomorrow?
Family parties. I hate crap like that.
Wear something nice.
By nice.
So this
Not
originally was
just
going to be a much longer scene
what
at
I
the actual
usually
party, and I wanted to put it in. Well, the main reason I wanted to put it in was because if you've ever been to a family gathering of any sort, when you've been well enough and you have an invisible illness, you were quite often judged, and people
You could look
think,
fabulous
oh,
if you made more of an
there
effort.
doesn't look anything wrong with him, and you
want to look
get those comments.
fabulous.
People don't keep it in their head. They say it, which is as shown in the sequence here, when we hear flashbacks to what her family
seems
members
to
have
be
said,
different.
which is again
Could
inspired
change,
by
you know.
real life
Yeah,
events
they're
that
never gonna
happened
change.
to me.
Still having a sickie?
I'm really, I wanted to kind of shock people who didn't have ME into thinking, whoa, that's not okay that people say that, like, that's unbelievable. So that was kind of my intention with that sequence, was just kind of, this is the kind of things that people hear on a regular basis, really, and that's not okay. The music in this scene, in this sequence, again by Aled, really helps build towards where we're going with the scene. We really are able, through the music and imagery, to show her health declining until we reach the point that is Christmas, which the whole point of the Christmas scene coming up is to show that quite often you are sick on days when everyone else is as happy as they can possibly be, and you are so sick that you just can't be happy. And there's that contrast of Christmas, we're trained from an early age to be like, it's the happiest day of the year, but what happens if it's not?
Still sick.
Or what
Even
happens
on
is
Christmas.
like Rachel's doing, is that she's putting a mask on for the
thanks, I
world,
love
which
it.
is trying to make the
Thought it might help
best of a
pass the
bad
time.
situation, but
No,
really
I'll totally
she
be
doesn't
doing
feel
it
like it's a
myself.
day to celebrate.
It's kind
which,
of nice for not mentioning me being sick.
Really I think is
Oh well.
summed up
New
by
Year's Eve next week.
New Year's
Hopefully I'm
Eve,
feeling
which as we hit New Year's Eve now, this is taken directly from my life. I remember sitting in bed, I think I must have been 18, and when you're
Yeah,
18 usually
still
out
sick.
celebrating New Year's Eve, having a few drinks. That was not the case for me. I heard the fireworks go off at Martin New Year's Eve, and I really realised in that moment how much Emmy had taken away from my life. I'd had it at that point
Shit.
7-8 years, and it really just sort of showed that for me. But then we didn't want to end completely on a negative note, which is where Malia's poem. So people who don't know Malia, who's involved in the project, also is diagnosed with ME, and she wrote this poem that I really just encapsulated the strength that people diagnosed with ME have, that they just keep on going even when their body's failing, and they have this sort of ability to say, I'm gonna keep on going and this won't beat me, which I just think is really just so impressive. And yeah, I just really wanted to end the episode with that, and I couldn't think of a better way to end it. And this animation is beautiful. It's by Ada, who at the time was 11, also diagnosed with ME, and she did this animation that was about this little claymation character who is unable to leave his bedroom because of ME, and it just sort of fit in with the themes of what we were talking about in the episode, and it just seemed like a beautiful thing to put at the end of the credits, and I think she should be really proud of it. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the commentary for episode 2. I hope that everyone's got some more information out of it. Maybe you didn't know how much was inspired by true events. Maybe you didn't know it was at all. And so hopefully hearing why we made the choices in this episode helps your enjoyment of it. gives more information. Thank you so much to everyone who supported us. Really, episode 2 came out this year, and thousands of you have viewed it on Facebook and on here, and we couldn't be more grateful for the support that we've got for both episodes. So thank you. Keep on liking, keep on watching, keep on subscribing, and stay tuned for the next year for when episode 3 comes out. So thank you.